Hi everyone. So let me just check if this is live. Okay. Alright, so the topic for today is the excretory organs. And before I start, let me introduce myself. I'm Vani Kari, biology educator at Unacademy. I'm an engineer with bachelor's and master's degree in biotechnology and a B.Ed degree. Also a founder of a startup where I grow microgreens by vertical farming technology. Just a second. Let's keep this side here. So any of you have any doubts, you can ask. I'm just checking the chat section. Okay, so there is a crash course which started on November 17th. Okay. And this is anyway all subject batch like maths, physics, chemistry and bio will be covered, and the mode of delivery here is English. So you can go ahead with this batch if you are planning on preparation right now, because from November 17 onwards we have started with the very beginning of this the syllabus. So basically for all these subjects, so if you are planning on preparing now, so now also you have a time, you can enroll now, where you will have access to the classes which are already done, recordings from November 17th, what is this, so that will be available, and rest of the sessions you can attend live. So if you are planning on taking the subscription, so you can use my code VANIYT. Okay, so this is the code to get 10% discount on the subscription. Okay, and let's get started with the excretory organs. So in one shot we are going to have a look at this. Just a second. Yes. Okay. So what exactly is excretion? Anybody here? What is excretion, or what is excretory system? What does it contain? So excretion is basically removal of metabolic waste. So what are those metabolic waste? So it is the nitrogenous waste removal has to occur. Okay. So what is that nitrogenous waste? The nitrogenous waste here can be the ammonia, it can be the urea, so it can be the uric acid, right? So uric acid, so there is urea formation. So all these have to be removed, okay, along with any extra amount of salt that is there. So excess amount of water. So through that itself the removal is done. So metabolic waste, when we mention ammonia, urea, uric acid, carbon dioxide, water and ions like sodium, potassium, chloride, phosphate, sulfate, so etc. are removed here. So besides kidney, so liver also does the function. So there are different organs. So since we are going to study about the excretory organs here, okay, so it's not just kidney which is removing the any metabolic waste. So there are associated organs like liver is there, lung is there, and through skin to some extent, only in trace quantity the urea can be removed. So these are all involved in the process of excretion. So let's have a look at the Selena textbook. Okay, so this I have added from Selena. Okay, and so I hope you are all also referring Selena itself. So the process of removal of chemical waste, mainly the nitrogenous waste from the body, so that we call a excretion, where this plays a main role in maintaining the homeostatic condition. So what is that homeostatic condition? So maintaining that concentration of blood throughout the body same. Okay, So meaning here, like the blood concentration here has to be 1 second. Is that maintaining the blood concentration, like amount of what is the amount of salt that has to be there, what is the amount of glucose that has to be there. So all the compounds in the blood or the blood plasma will be regulated, and that is maintaining, like not just at one part but throughout the body. So that we call maintaining the homeostatic condition. So throughout the body same. So that is done by the kidney itself. So that is osmoregulation function. Okay. So organs here which are concerned with formation, storage, elimination of urine. So they form the excretory system. I hope I'm audible now. So there is no network issue, right? Let me just check. Okay. So organs which are concerned with formation, storage, elimination of urine, so they form the excretory system. So excretory system or urinary system, so there is a specific term which can be used as a urinary system instead of an excretory system. So excretion should not be confused with the defecation. Okay, so meaning passing out or fecal material. Okay, so that is mainly the undigested food from the intestine is not considered under the excretory system. So excretory system is basically and specifically for passage of urine. Okay, so similarly passing out carbon dioxide through the lungs is also not a excretion but is a respiration. So in humans the term urinary system can be used, which is more appropriate for an excretory system. That is because it is mainly the urine removal through the excretory system, not the carbon dioxide or the what we call the fecal material. So fecal material is also not being removed. Okay, and let's have a look at this. So you can see this picture over here. What exactly is happening? The blood is coming. Okay, so blood is being supplied through the renal artery to the kidney. Okay, so this blood which is there, no, so this is actually the blood which is rich in urea. Okay, so there will be urea. You are not getting the difference between excretory system and urinary system. Both are same. Okay, meaning is that like lot of them will get confused, like when we mention excretory system, so they'll think of the passage of stool, what is done, the defecation, the fecal material. Okay, so that also is passed, right? So that is not considered under excretory system. So excretory system and the urinary system both are one and the same thing, where the urine removal is occurring. Okay, so more appropriate term is urinary system instead of a excretory system. So they are just saying that the term could have been urinary system instead of a excretory system, because here the fecal material removal is not occurring, the carbon dioxide through the urinary system is not occurring, and that's the reason the more appropriate term is urinary system instead of excretory system. I hope you got it. So now you can see here the blood is supplied to the kidney. Okay, and the kidney where actually the urea, any nitrogenous waste, so that nitrogenous waste removal occurs through this kidney, that is by filtering the blood. So now once the blood filtration occurs over here in the kidney. Okay, so what exactly is done? So after the blood is filtered, so this blood which is not having urea will be sent back to the vein, and again it would have collected the carbon dioxide from here, where it is given to the lung for oxygenation. Okay, so the passing of fecal material will come under which system? So that anyway comes under digestive system, no? So you have studied in class 9. So digestive system where there is undigested food is passed out. Okay, So it is related to digestion but not with respect to excretion. So that's the reason. So it is mentioned clearly that excretory system, when we mention, the fecal material is not considered, it's only the urinary, and that's the reason the more appropriate term is urinary system instead of a excretory system in case of humans. Yeah. Okay, so now you know the carbon dioxide can be removed through the lung, so that is through the respiration here. So substances, what all substances that we need to get rid of in order for us, like let's say substances, there are certain waste products that are formed due to metabolic activities. So there is a catabolism, so there is anabolism which is occurring, and that's the reason. So we need to get rid of these unwanted compounds that are produced, and there are different ways where we get rid of these unwanted compounds. So there are number of chemical substances which are regularly formed in our body and are absorbed through the food, so that must be got rid of. Otherwise, so if we are not removing them from our body, so they can become toxic, so they can become harmful in our body, so where they can damage the surrounding tissue, and that's the reason we need to get rid of them. So here, otherwise they become harmful. And some such substances are carbon dioxide. So how exactly carbon dioxide removal occurs? That is through the lung. Okay. And same way the water is also removed. The nitrogenous metabolic waste like urea, uric acid, ammonia and all are removed. So excess salts, so any salts that are there, like let's say sodium is more in amount, the chloride is more in amount, so these are anyway removed, and any excess amount of vitamins, the water, and the breakdown product of hemoglobin, that is bile pigment, also can be removed. So this also again anyway I have taken from Selena itself. Okay, I hope you all are referring Selena too. Are you all referring Selena or some other textbook? Since your pre-boards are near, when exactly is your pre-board? Class 10 learners, when is your pre-board? So the carbon dioxide and water, so all these are things that has to be removed. So these are the nitrogenous one, and when we compare out of them, ammonia being the most toxic one, where it requires a lot of water for excretion. Okay, so let's say if we have to get rid of 1 gram of ammonia, so nearly about 300 to 500 ml of water is required. So if we need to get rid of 1 gram of uric acid, so nearly about 10 ml is sufficient. Okay, so here it is for this one, that is urea. Okay, so for urea, let's say 1 gram, so about 10 to 15 ml. So let's say 50 up to 50 ml of water is also sufficient. Okay, and that's the reason our body forms the urea. And other aquatic organisms, when we mention, so ammonia removal occurs in their body. So if we are talking about birds and all, where they drink very less water as in comparison to us, so they remove the uric acid. Okay, so they remove the uric acid, where conversion of this excess amount of protein is there, no? So that will be done into uric acid there. Okay, so now carbon dioxide and water. So every living cell liberates energy by oxidizing glucose. So that is cellular respiration occurs. So glucose gets oxidized to release carbon dioxide, to release water, and to release the energy. Okay, so carbon dioxide is eliminated through the lungs. So water becomes the parts of the rest of the water in the body, or also as a water vapor it is going out. So then there are nitrogenous metabolic waste. So these are the nitrogenous metabolic waste, okay, which are produced in the liver from dead protein remains of other tissues which are brought to it. So any excess amount of amino acid is there, so this we cannot store. So we don't have a mechanism where the protein storage is done. So any excess amount of protein is there, so that we get rid of, where the breakdown of this excess amount of protein will occur in the liver to produce a usable glucose, and the other part of it becomes the urea, which has to be excreted out. So if urea is not excreted, it is basically highly poisonous and it will accumulate in the blood and it can even cause the death, and that's the reason. So we need to get rid of this urea. So urea is excreted out through the kidneys. One second. So next, then there is reabsorption process occurring, so that is selective absorption, and then there is a tubular secretion. So if any of the vitamins are excess, so basically through the tubular secretion process, any excess amount of vitamins, the the medications that you are taking, so any excess amount of drugs are all got rid of. So that is mainly through this particular process called as tubular secretion. Okay, and other than that, so this is with respect to water soluble vitamins, and salts are also given through the kidneys, and water is taken in with food as well as beverages, so that is in large quantities. Okay, so in large quantities the water is taken, and basically this will help in getting rid of all the unwanted things. So the excess quantity of water is removed, which incidentally also serves a useful purpose of dissolving the harmful material to carry them out. Okay, so there are bile pigments, which are mainly the yellow bilirubin, are the breakdown products of the hemoglobin of the dead RBCs. So the liver cell extracted from the circulation and secreted into the bile juice poured into the duodenum through the common bile duct. Okay, and here how exactly bile pigment formation occurs. So this is basically nothing but the RBCs when they die. So because RBCs are having a lifespan of 120 days. Okay, so when that is done, so there is a hemoglobin which is formed. So this hemoglobin which is there on the surface of RBC, so there is a breakdown of hemoglobin that can be seen, where this is going to form the pigment bilirubin. Okay, so there is a bilirubin pigment as well as biliverdin pigment formation there. So these are the different excretory organs. So let me just check this, just a second. Yeah, so there are different organs which are there. So kidneys, which are mainly the primary excretory organs throwing out excretory products, so mainly the urea in the form of urine. So then there is sweat gland. So excretion by sweat gland is incidental. So here, one second. All right. And other than that, so there is excretion which occurs by sweat gland. So here, the skin as such is not considered the excretory organ. Okay, so why exactly sweat glands are there? So it is to cool down your body. So let's say your body is getting heated, so just to cool down your body, so there is a sweat production that occurs. Okay, so this is the function of skin which we have studied. Okay, so now while the sweat gland is producing the sweat, so there is a trace amount of urea that gets removed. Okay, and that trace amount of urea, what you find, so this is basically only to form or only to cool down the body, not actually to get rid of the urea. Okay, and that's the reason, so sweat glands are actually not considered the main excretory organ. So since only a little amount of or trace amount of urea gets removed, so we certain cases include the sweat glands under the excretory organ. So it is mainly for thermoregulation, that is temperature regulation. So sweat secreted carries a small amount of nitrogenous waste, which is then passing out only when required for cooling. So they are truly not excretory. Okay, so then there is excretion by lungs, which is in the form of carbon dioxide released in the expired air. So here Now, as you know, so there is 1 second. So let me just draw here. So what exactly is the case? So there is a pathway. So this is the windpipe. Okay. So there is a bronchi formation that you can see. So this bronchi is dividing further. So primary bronchi, there is secondary bronchi here. So then there is tertiary bronchi here. Okay. So after the tertiary bronchi formation, what exactly is being formed? The bronchiole is being formed. So then there is alveolar duct formation, and then there is alveoli formation that you can see. Okay, so same way over here as well. So there is a alveoli. So what exactly is this alveoli? So let's say if this is the alveolar, okay, so that is alveolus. So this alveolus will be having a blood supply surrounding this. Okay, so where the exchange of gases, so let's say if here the carbon dioxide is being thrown out and oxygen is taken inside. So what exactly is happening? The oxygen has entered till alveolus, and through the diffusion, by diffusion, this oxygen is going to diffuse into the blood vessel, and now the carbon dioxide is more in the blood vessel. So this carbon dioxide is going to go out. So that is again through the same pathway over here, that is through the alveoli again. So in that case we can consider, so there is an exchange of gases which will occur depending on the partial pressure, or the difference in the partial pressure is the one which is causing the movement of gas from their region of higher concentration to their region of lower concentration, and that's the reason you can see carbon dioxide moving out and oxygen moving into. That is because of the partial pressure of these gases will be respective when in comparison to the outside and the body. Okay, and here the one which is mentioned, so that is lungs. So excretion by lungs in the form of carbon dioxide, so this is released in the expired air. So these are the main three product, like excretory organs that we can study. And if we are to talk about the kidney mainly, so kidney, how does it look? So there is a bean shaped structure. Okay, so this is a bean shaped structure which is having the outer layer. So there is one more region that we need to draw. So this is cortex region. Okay, and this one is the medulla region. So this cortex region, so we can just draw one more covering for that, because this is anyway a capsule. Okay, so that is a covering which will be there. So while you are drawing kidney structure, so make sure that you are drawing this part, so that is the outer part. Okay, just a second. Yeah, here it is. Yes, yes, Yashaswini. So any doubts? So this is now the cortex region. So cortex region, when we observe, so this will have a dotted appearance. That is mainly because of the Bowman's capsule together with Malpighian capsule. So that is glomerulus. Okay, so there is Bowman's capsule and along with that the glomerulus. Okay, so both of them together, what do we call? So it is the Malpighian capsule. Okay, so there is a Malpighian capsule that you can find mainly in this cortex region. Okay, so it is in the cortex region of the kidney. So you find this combination along with PCT, DCT. So let me just write, so not just this, so PCT and DCT is also present in the cortex region. But again, when we compare it with the medulla region, so medulla is having the conical pyramids as such. Okay, so there are conical pyramids over here. So with these conical pyramids, okay, so there is a formation of these striations. Okay, so these striations are seen, and these striations are mainly because, one second, so this is the one. Okay, so these striations, yes, can anybody tell me what are these striations here? So this one is the medulla region. Okay, so in the medulla region you can find the renal pyramid. All right, so this renal pyramid is what? So renal pyramid is basically having made of the collecting duct and also the Henle's loop or loop of Henle we call. Okay, so this is Henle's loop formation and the collecting duct are present here. So then there are meniscus. Okay, so that is major loop, so major groove, minor groove, which is forming this ureter structure. So this one end of the ureter which is expanded here in the kidney, so this region we call pelvis, where the emptying of urine from the collecting duct. So let's say collecting duct is, it is going to pour the urine into the pelvic region, then it is going to enter this part, so that is the ureter part. So the urine is now gonna enter from kidney into the ureter, then into the urinary bladder. Okay, so upon the impulse from the brain, once the impulse is received from the brain, so that is so for micturition. Okay, so then the sphincter muscles are going to relax and the urination or micturition is done. So let's have a look at these questions here. So urea is excreted out through lungs, kidneys, heart and liver. So what exactly, from where exactly the excretion of urea occurs? Okay, so this is through the kidneys. Okay, so lungs, carbon dioxide removal is done, so heart does anyway help in circulation of this. So liver, where the bile pigment formation occurs. So bile pigments are breakdown products of hemoglobin of dead RBC. So whether this is true or false? Yes, this is true, because RBC after the lifespan of 120 days, so the hemoglobins, like this will be anyway breakdown occurs with respect to RBC. The hemoglobin is going to further break down in the liver, forming the bile pigment. So while the breakdown of this hemoglobin occurs, so that itself is forming the bile pigment in the liver. Okay, so bile pigments are basically a breakdown product of hemoglobin of the dead RBCs. So it is true. Okay. And the basic functional unit of human kidney is what? Nephron, nephridia, pyramid, Henle's loop. So it is nephron. Okay, so there is neuron also, which is a structural and functional unit of brain. So a lot of them I have come across where they get confused between a nephron and a neuron. So don't do that. So the nephron is basically a structural and functional unit of kidney and consisting of the Bowman's capsule, then there is PCT as such. Okay, then there is Henle's loop and there is DCT over here, and also there is a collecting duct. So this is the collecting duct. So now there is a blood supply, it will be done, and here a tuft of capillary you can find, and there is a outward, like basically once the filtration occurs, the thicker blood is flowing here, that is through the afferent arteriole, where again the normal concentration of blood can be maintained. So that is by reabsorption process through the afferent arterioles which are collecting them. So that is nothing but the capillaries. Yes, any of you, any doubt? And if you are planning on taking this one, so there is a crash course. Okay, so crash course has started from November 17th. You can download the Unacademy Learners app and take up the session there. And maths, physics, chemistry and biology will be covered. So if you are planning on taking the subscription, you can use my code VANIYT. Okay, so with this code you will get a 10% discount on the subscription. All right. So recording, so you will have access to the recordings also, and my Telegram. So if you need this PDF, I can send it on my Telegram. So my Telegram link, so since I haven't added any link over here, so what you can do is you can just search Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10 biology on Telegram. Okay, so you can just search it as Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10 biology on Telegram. You can search, so you'll find me there. Okay, all right then. So I'll end this session. Any of you any doubts? Okay, so thank you everyone. So you can subscribe to our channel. So that is Unacademy, ICSE and ISE boards. Click on bell icon to get notified about the session. You can also like and share the video with your friends, and you can download the PDF from this particular Telegram channel. So this is the Telegram where you can search on the Telegram, and other than that you can also download the Unacademy Learners app. So from there you can join my community. So through the community also you can take up the PDF. So if you want me to send this PDF there, I can send it on community also. So you can just join the community. So all you have to do is download the Unacademy Learners app and attend the session. So there you will anyway, so there beside the educator name itself you will find this. Okay. Alright, so see you all in the next session. Now bye bye everyone, take care, thank you all.